First of all, I would like to greet everyone who is in this meeting. This is our first meeting that we are everyone. We can start with roll call. Germany. Is Germany present? Italy.
Present.
France.
Present.
Britain.
Present.
Russia.
Present.
Kuwait.
Present.
Canada.
Present.
USA. Yes, they're not present. Japan.
Present.
United Arab Emirates.
Present.
China. Right, China. They're present. India. Present. So since the roll call is finished, we can keep up with the opening speeches. Hocam, before we start with the opening speeches, I have a request.
Yeah, of course.
Can we disable the chat and the people who are not using their mics to close their mics?
Yeah.
Yes, teacher.
Thank
please
you so
disable
much.
Chat. It's
So Germany, for the opening speech, the floor is yours.
Should I start? Honorable chairs and fellow delegates, extreme weather, high temperatures, and rising sea levels are all effects of climate change. Germany has been one of the first countries to have started and almost completed a United Nations project on climate change and alternative energy resources. Khalid, the delegate of Germany, will be focusing on this topic of climate change and alternative energy resources. We would like to help the world on this topic. The delegate has a resolution and hopes to merge with other delegates in this conference, and hopes that this conference will have constructive debates and all the environmental problems of today's world will be solved, with collaboration and negotiations between delegates. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Delegate of Germany. Italy, you can deliver your speech.
Honorable Chair, fellow delegates, as you know, we will talk about climate change today. We will explain what's climate change, what's the climate change reasons and results. Climate change is the change of weather events such as a precipitation, wind, and temperature occur in a certain period. The reason for this change is the increase in greenhouse gas emissions. The reason is human activities like the use of fossil fuels, toxic gases from cars or factory chimneys, etc. These examples can change country to country too. All these results are possible consequences such as extreme temperature rises, melting glaciers, and change in vegetation. Today we will evaluate them by country. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Delegate of Italy. It was a great speech. Friends, the floor is yours.
Honorable chairs and fellow delegates, the delegate of France believes that the climate change is important to our United Nations Assembly. If we don't act now, our children will have no future. If we don't take this seriously, we will all watch our planet die before our eyes. If we don't work together and separate our ways, each other, the earth will die. So let's work together and save our planet. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Delegate of France. Britain.
Sorry, my mic wasn't working because of the internet. So, Honorable Chair and the delegates, as you know, our world is suffering one of the biggest problems of all time, climate change. Climate change has started around 18th. As UK, our priority is to stop this change forever just like everyone else. In this case, we did and doing important things. For example, our Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced that UK is going to reduce its emissions by 78% by 2035 compared to 1990 by signing one of the world's most ambitious climate actions. That's a quite impressive rate, isn't it? And also UK, we are going to ban the sale of petrol and diesel cars within 10 years, accelerating our plans to increase the use of low-carbon energy. And for last, as Prince Charles has said, climate change should be seen as the greatest, as a much bigger priority in the United Kingdom. As a matter of fact, not only UK, but the whole world should take responsibility. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Delegate of Britain. The next one is the Delegate of Kuwait.
Honorable Chair, fellow delegates and guests, the Kuwait country is grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this conference and the chance to find suitable solutions for air pollution issues. We hope that we give the suitable solution for us and other countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate of Kuwait. The next one is Canada.
Honorable Chair, discussion delegates, and fellow guests. As the delegation of Canada, we are extremely pleased to attend this conference. We believe that climate change is a crucial situation that we all consider. Climate change is the result of greenhouse gas emission, which is produced by human activities. The main cause is the greenhouse gases, mostly carbon dioxide and methane. Burning fossil fuels for energy creates most of the emission. At this point, we should think, how can we stop this? Because another way, these emissions will cause sea level rising, glacial level melting, drought, and global warming. Wait, aren't they already happening? Canada's annual average temperature over land has warmed by 1.7 degrees Celsius, and the world's almost 1 degree Celsius. The thing that I want to highlight is, before reach the point we can step back, let's take a step for a living world. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Canada, for your great statement. Japan.
Hello, Your Honorable Chair, esteemed teachers, and distinguished delegates. Climate change has affected Japan drastically. The temperature and rainfall have increased rapidly in the years leading up to 2020. Lots of corals in the Japanese seas and oceans have died due to rising sea temperatures and ocean acidification. We are taking on the huge challenge to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2050. The world is now facing two global crises, the coronavirus pandemic and climate change. As we stand at this turning point of civilization, it's essential that we redesign our socio-economic systems to be sustainable and resilient. That is why we are now taking on the three transitions challenge towards a decarbonized society, a circular economy, and a decentralized society. Thank you for listening us.
Thank you, Delegate of Japan. United Arab Emirates.
Hello,
I'm greeting you, fellow delegates and distinguished chairs. As the delegate of UAE, we are aware of the fact that climate change is a really big problem we are facing these days. We are going to be talking about climate change. It all started in the 1830s. It was the first time human activities influenced climate. So, what did we do about this? In order to reduce its carbon footprint, the UAE monitors the emission of gases that lead to the greenhouse effect and has reduced its per capita carbon emissions due to better technology and transition to more natural gas in power plants. Emissions of carbon dioxide per capita have decreased. The deployment and use of clean energy solution is one of the main pillars of the United Arab Emirates model of agitating the challenge of climate change and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The country began financing clean energy projects more than 15 years ago and has invested over $40 billion in the sector to date. The United Arab Emirates has engaged in the implementation of 40 projects for the purpose to reducing the emissions of greenhouse gases under the umbrella of the Development Mechanism projects. The prospective total annual reduction of the projects is estimated about 1 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Thank you.
Thank thank you, Brazil. It's it's yours.
Honorable chairs and fellow delegates, climate change is destroying our planet. This is a phrase that we hear every single day, but we choose to ignore because of our need to oil and factories. It is like saying our wealth is more important than saving the planet and the lives of the people. To anyone who continues to deny the reality that is climate change, I dare you to get off your ivory tower and away from the comfort of your armchair. I dare you to go to the islands of the Pacific, the islands of the Caribbean, and the islands of the Indian Ocean and see the impacts of rising sea levels. To the mountainous regions of the Himalayas and the Andes to see communities confronting glacial floods. To the Arctic, where communities grapple with the fast-dwindling polar ice caps, to the large deltas of the Mekong, the Ganges, the Amazon, and the Nile, where lives and livelihoods are drowned. To the hills of Central America that confront similar monstrous hurricanes, to the vast savannas of Africa where climate change has likewise become a matter of life and death as food and water become scarce. Not to forget the massive hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico and the eastern seaboard of North America. And if that's not enough, you may want to pay a visit to the Philippines right now. We need to put an end to this. Let's ask ourselves, who will solve this issue? Let's ask, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? It may have fell on deaf ears, but here in Brazil, we may very well ask these same forthright questions. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? If not here in Brazil, then where? Which side of history do we want to be on? It's time that we all need to stick together and save the world for real. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate of Brazil. China, the floor is yours.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, ni hao everyone. We, the delegation of China, are willing to bring climate change to an end. And we are so happy today to be with all the delegates. Today, in order to solve our problems, the delegation of China thanks you.
Thank you, China. Um, India, I would like to take the floor. So, as a delegation of India, first of all, we would like to mention that we are so happy that we're here today and proud to be with us such a great committee. India is one of the countries that who are not in a good situation about carbon emission gases, and air pollution. So this topic is muchly about us. So we would like to look forward to find solutions with such a great team, and we're proud to be here. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Delegation of India. I think now we can move on to the motions, right?
Yep.
I didn't speak.
Yes.
Who didn't speak?
Russia.
Oh, Russia, would you please mind to speak?
Okay, is my voice coming well?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Honorable Chair, dear delegates, substantial and wide-ranging impacts of climate change have occurred across the world. Climate change already affecting ecosystem, human health, freshwater resources, agriculture. Over the past few decades, yields of major agricultural crops have not increased as much as they would have without climate change. With climate change, people around the world are already losing their homes, and if things carry on, millions of us will have packed up too. And so, all this creating a situation that is a real threat to humankind. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegation of Russia. Are there any delegates that are left that want to give the opening speech? Okay, seeing none, we can move on to the motions. So,
Are there any motions in the house?
Chair, can you please help me count the motions?
UAE, followed by Russia, followed by Brazil, followed by France, followed by Canada.
Air pollution.
Global warming.
Air pollution.
Motion Japan.
Sea level rising.
Chair, I'm writing the delegates and their motions. Can you please just like tell
Japan,
me the name?
sea levels
Okay.
rising.
Okay,
Canada,
next.
Canada,
Same with Russia.
sea levels rising. No, Russia. What was yours?
Global warming.
I think Russians with global warming, yes.
Okay. Motion Italy.
Global warming, Italy.
Okay. If your motions are the same, you may not say. We're gonna vote it afterwards. Brazil, do you have a motion?
No.
Okay. Motion Kuwait.
Air pollution.
Air pollution.
I think air pollution was said by France. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So are there any different motions? Japan?
Actually, I was the first one who says air pollution.
Is anyone says global warming?
Yeah, we have global warming.
Okay.
Okay, so we have 4 motions, I suppose, right, Chair?
We have air pollution, global warming, sea level rising, and
Motion Italy.
Ice melting.
Ice melting. Okay.
okay. Are there any motions left?
Seeing none, we can start with the voting procedure.
Okay, so the delegates that are willing to talk about air pollution, can you please raise your hands or your placard? Chairman, can you help me count?
Of course. 10.
Okay. So the delegates that are willing to talk about global warming, can you please raise your placards or your hands?
Eight.
Okay. And delegates that are willing to talk about sea level rising, can you please raise your placards or hands?
1, 2,
Okay. Count me in, I'm 3.
3.
So the delegates that are willing to talk about ice melting, can I please see your hands or your placards? Ice melting.
Scene 1.
Okay. So for the overwhelming majority, we're going to be talking about air pollution. So seeing a lot of delegates that said we're going to talk about air pollution, we have UAE, we have France, and who else said? Japan. So we're going in the order of UAE, France,
I
Japan.
said I wanted air pollution.
Okay, what's your country? UAE, okay. Oh, Kuwait, are you Kuwait? Okay, so we're gonna start with UAE. Can you please take the floor?
Because we need to stop the forest from burning. Because of the forest, there's too many gases that's going to the atmosphere, and then the air pollution starts. And then the air pollution starts. So we need to stop the forest from burning, like Amazon, and also we need help from big countries, so we can stop air pollution.
Thank you, delegate of UAE. Delegate of Russia?
Thank you. Methane or greenhouse gas, etc. All those gases are released in the air, and when sunlight gets into the Earth's atmosphere, some of heats are trapped there, and our planet is getting warmer. First of all, we should use the wind, polar, geothermal, and biogas voices energy sources, and natural gas should increase. For this, it will be beneficial for states to prepare very incentive programs, and we can say expanding green spaces using electronic cars, or yes, increase the use of the public transports. But we think the main solution will be like air pollution has out anonymous, monitored by the organization. Results are published and daily in the mass media, just like meteorological results. In Russia, work continues on the development of laws on control and reducing of carbon emission, and also we reduce emissions of the greenhouse gas. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate of Russia.
Delegate of France, would you please take the floor?
Air pollution is one that requires immediate attention for human health. Our nation, France, is trying to solve air pollution by installing filters on factory chimneys, but we can't solve this problem just by ourselves. Other big nations have to do this for the world's sake. As the French nation, we believe we can. We need to save forests. We need to use renewable energy and decrease the carbon dioxide emissions, upgrade the electrical car usage for decrease the effects of air pollution. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, delegate of France.
Delegate of Kuwait, can you please take the floor?
We need help from other countries like UAE, Germany, so we can help the earth from this air pollution. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, delegate of Kuwait. Are there any delegates that are willing to take the floor? Okay, India, followed by Germany. Anyone else? followed by Japan, followed by Canada,
followed by UAE, followed by Britain.
Okay. India, you may take the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Followed by Brazil, by the way. As a delegate of India, we would like to mention that in our country, the main reason of air pollution is our high intensified population of our country. Since there are many people, it's getting harder and harder to control those kinds of much of people and what they're doing and what they're up to. So, as a country like that, we would like to advise the delegates to do something on those kinds of high populated countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Will the delegate of Germany please take the floor?
Yes. Following up with what Russia said, Germany, about renewable resources, Germany in 2019 alone added 1,500 wind turbines, offshore wind turbines. And I totally agree with India. They have a good reason for their air pollution, and they should implement some laws like China about giving birth to lower the population. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate of Germany. Can the Delegate of Japan please take the floor?
It's basically depends on our people. We have to conserve energy as much as possible at home, at work, at everywhere. We have to use low energy labels when purchasing personal or business equipment, and we don't have to burn smoky things in your fireplace. Thanks.
Thank you, Delegation of Japan. Can the Delegation of Canada please take the floor?
As the delegation of Canada, we think that education is so important because if we raise awareness of public, we can stop the environment pollution and we can stop the emission of carbon dioxide and other gases, and that's how we can stop the air pollution.
Thank you, Delegation of Canada. Can the Delegation of UAE please take the floor?
As the delegate of UAE, we need to use public transports, recycle and reuse, and stop using plastic bags. And also we need to try to stop forest fires and smoking. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate of UAE. Can the Delegate of Britain please take the floor?
So, the Emissions Gap Report 2021 shows that new national climate pledges combined with other mitigation measures put the world on track for a global temperature rise of 2.7 degrees by the end of the century. That is well above the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement and would lead to catastrophic changes in the Earth's climate. To keep global warming below 1.5 degrees a century, the aspirational goal of the Paris Agreement, the world needs to halve annual greenhouse gas emissions in the next 8 years. If implemented effectively, net zero emissions pledges could limit warming to 2.2 degrees, closer to the well below 2 degrees goal of the Paris Agreement. The reduction of methane emissions gap and reduce warming into the short term, the report finds. And carbon markets could also help slash emissions, but that would only happen if the rules are clearly defined and target actual reductions in emissions while being supported by arrangements to track progress and provide transparency. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate of Britain.
Can the Delegate of Brazil please take the floor?
As Brazil, we totally agree with UAE. Forests are crucial at fighting against climate change and air pollution, but that of course will not be enough with factories and oil and coal and everything. We can maybe switch to wind and solar power, and of course we need to help countries like India.
Thank you, Delegate of Brazil.
Thank you, Brazil.
As the delegation of China, we would like to take the floor if the chair is okay with that.
The floor is China's.
So China thinks India is saying that they want to decrease the population of the people. India should take actions, not just talk. Like the greatest country in the world did, we took actions. Yes, I'm talking about China, the greatest country in the world. We, China. Well, China started taking actions against air pollution, such as reducing cars and reducing the number of the population in our country, because we know that China, the greatest country, has an overwhelming population. So India, China, really advises you to take action. Thank you.
Motion to follow up.
Motion granted. Go ahead.
As a delegate of India, we would like to mention that we are grateful for your suggestions, delegate of China.
The delegation of China thanks the delegation of India sincerely. So are there any motions left? Do I see any delegates that are willing to take the floor?
So I guess we can once again open the motions.
Okay.
Brazil, do you have a motion or something to say?
No, I have something to say.
Okay, floor is yours.
Okay. As China said, I think that China is totally wrong about what it's saying. If China's like trying to stop oil factories and switching to powers and electric cars, then how is China the second on the list of climate change polluters? Since 1850, it literally has 476 million tons of CO2 emissions. Thank you.
Motion to follow up.
Motion granted.
So, as the delegation of China, China doesn't really care about your country. China doesn't really care about this world. China only cares about its people, its country, its religion. We don't care. We only care about their country. And we started taking actions recently, which is why we're the second on the list. Thank you.
Motion to follow up.
Motion Brazil.
Okay. China, if China is only caring about itself, then when the world will get worse and climate change will get worse and worse, and it will eventually go to China, and China will not be able to do anything if it was alone.
UAE followed by France, followed by Russia.
So, as China said, that they doesn't care about the world, they just care about their people, but they are completely wrong, because when the world is destroyed because of climate change, China is going to be the principle of this.
Thank you, UAE. France, the floor is yours.
If China is just care about their country and their people, then why China delegate is here to work with us?
China, do you have an answer for that?
Yes, we have an answer, so motion to follow up.
Motion granted.
So China is here for the money. UN gives you money. We're only here for the money. Thank you.
Thank you, China. France, do you have an answer for that?
No.
Thank you, France. Russia, the floor is yours.
I totally agree with Brazil and the France. So China is the second country to using fossil fuels. So I'm totally agree with Brazil.
Thank you, delegate of Russia. Brazil, the floor is yours.
I'm so sorry. Motion to follow up.
Motion granted. China followed by Brazil, followed by UAE.
Wait, Brazil can go first and then I can speak.
Okay, Brazil.
If the delegate of China is only here for money, then when the world will end because of climate change, I'm pretty sure that money won't be able to do that much.
Can I go ahead, Chair?
The floor is yours.
So I'm going to follow up by speaking to Brazil. Brazil, I'm taking the money. The delegation of China, we are taking the money. I don't care about my children. I don't care if they're going to die about climate change or not. What I care about now is my money. And I advise every single delegate to look at their own country before knocking out my country. So please take a look at your country. Russia, take a look at your country. The polar bears are dying. Thank you.
Motion to follow up.
Brazil followed by Russia.
And that's literally the problem that Earth is facing right now. Because of those countries, even if Brazil, UAE, Russia, Germany, all of the countries found a solution and did it, the climate change will still not end. China is not only harming itself, but it's only harming all of the world.
Thank you, Brazil. Russia, the floor is yours.
Yes, so China, if there's no future for the climate change, how can you use the money?
China, do you have a motion to follow up for this?
China was disconnected, so we couldn't hear anything. And we're sorry about the connection.
Welcome, China. France, followed by UAE.
Motion to kick China from this meeting.
Agreed.
Motion
China already
Motion to
has
follow up.
a lot of problems with the connection. She's already has not been in half of the meeting. Please leave China alone. China is just trying to save their country. Please.
Motion to follow up.
Followed by Germany.
Is it Brazil first?
Yeah, Brazil
Germany has a
followed by.
motion to follow up.
Oh, follow up. Sorry. Go on, Germany.
Then, if China is telling people to like other delegates stay away from her, or it, then you need to stop being selfish and look after all the other countries and their delegate representatives, because you're one of the main reasons for air pollution.
Motion to follow up.
Okay, China followed by UAE, followed by Brazil, and then when everyone ends up with it, we're gonna move on to another motion.
I mean, come on, look who's talking. Germany, the country who killed a lot of people just because of their beliefs, just because of their religion. Why? In the sake of saving its own country, sake of saving its own people. So Germany, please fix your problems first.
Motion to follow up. First of all, that was in the past, and second of all, aren't you doing this? Are you doing the same thing to the Muslim Uyghurs in your concentration camps?
Motion to follow up.
Motion granted.
We, the delegation of China, do not know what you're talking about. Germany, what are you talking about? Thank you.
Okay. So we're gonna move on to another motion since the chair has decided.
It was my turn.
Chair has decided in this way, so it's gonna be different. Are there any motions in the house? Motion Brazil.
Global warming.
motion, friends.
Sea level rising.
Thank you, friends. Russia.
Global warming.
Okay, same as Brazil. Italy.
Same with Brazil.
Okay, so since the chair has realized there are two motions, are there any more motions in the house? Motion Kuwait.
Global warming.
Okay, since they're the same, you don't have to say it again, delegate. It's okay. There are no motion, no other motions in the house, right? Okay. So we have two motions. We will be voting upon them. The first motion is global warming. It's by Brazil. Who would like to talk about it, delegates? Raise your placards. Scene 5. Okay, you may lower them. And now the sea level's rising by friends. Scene 5 again. Chairman, are you here? Chairman. So they're equal, so we have to do it again. The delegates who would like to talk about global warming, raise your placards again. Okay, it's 6 now. The delegates who would
Okay,
like
and
to
what
talk
was the
about
other motion?
sea levels rising, raise your placards. Okay, it's 4. Okay.
So for the overwhelming majority, global warming won.
Yes,
Who was the one who gave the motion?
it was Brazil. Brazil, would you like to be the first one to talk or the last one to talk?
I would like to be the first one to talk.
Okay, the floor is
So
yours.
the floor is yours.
We can try, instead of using oil and factories and coal, we can try promoting the use of electric power and use actually clean technology, clean electrical technology.
Thank you, Brazil.
Thank you, Brazil. Are there any motions? Brazil again. UA followed by UAE.
Followed by Italy. Actually, Italy was faster, but I guess
Okay,
Brazil
Italy,
followed
you
by
can
Italy.
go first.
Yes.
Okay. And I just noticed that there are some. We just noticed that there are some countries, like India, and like there's some countries that need help that don't have that much of electricity, and like they don't have that much of power of electricity and technology to do this. So I request from like countries like USA and Germany to help us, help India to help us fix global warming.
Thank you, Brazil. Italy, it's yours.
Global warming has affected our country as well as agriculture, trade, tourism, economy, health, vegetations, and similar issues. For example, what we are seeing in Italy on these days is the effect of drought. Olive fruit and other diseases are one of the causes of drought, and the diseases are usually caused by adverse climatic conditions. Apart from this, Calderine Glacier in Italy is danger of disappearing completely within 10 to 20 years due to global warming, and many glaciers like this are also in danger of extinction. As a result, events such as a thirst and decrease in animals and plant species occur. Being aware of the consequences of this situation, the Italian people that the government court on the world environment day due to the inadequacy of the policies to combat climate change. In addition, Italy is the first country to include climate change and sustainable development courses as a compulsory course in schools as of the 2020-21 academic year. In addition to this, a group of well-known names in Italy launched a campaign to plant 60 million trees, one for each hungry nation, in the face of global climate crisis. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Italy. It was those were great statements.
It was UAE's turn, followed up by Russia, followed by Brazil, followed by Kuwait.
And India would like to speak too.
As the country of UAE, we need to save energy at our home. We need to reduce, reuse, repair, and recycle. And also we need to change our home's source of energy. We need to reduce waste. We need to recycle clothes. We need also to buy. We need to bring our own shopping bags. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, delegate of UAE. The floor is Russia. Russia, could you please take the floor?
My voice is coming.
Yes, you can go ahead.
So, our world is about 1 degree hotter than pre-industrial times. Some experts are saying if we warm by 1.5 degrees, it will be fine. Actually, if we warm by 2 degrees hotter, it will probably be fine. But this is the main problem, actually, the speed. We don't need to talk about plant forestries or using electronic cars. We all know this, but actually we can build a regional emissions trading system. It is likely in a few years a national system will be introduced, creating such an incentive that it will be profitable to reduce greenhouse emission because it is economically beneficial. In the long run, if we can try about it, maybe it's 30, 40, or 50 years, most likely oil consumption will start to decrease, gas consumption will stabilize and not increase. Russia and Russian companies will adapt to this process in Russia's interests. Introducing a national emission trading system is the right step. Therefore, Russia is discussing the issue not only in terms of energy, but also in terms of economic transformation. Thank you.
Thank you, Russia. The delegate of Brazil, followed by Kuwait, India, and then China.
And then France.
As the delegate of Brazil, we noticed that so many countries, including us, are cutting down trees and using it with oil and coal in factories to reduce cars, phones, and all the electric stuff. We can go to electric power, and we can also stop cutting trees to use it in factories. And also, one of the countries that are using coal very, very much is India. India is the second largest country in the world of using coal.
India, do you have a motion to follow up?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, India, granted.
It's a country that who creates many stuff, and then they have a great kind of producing stuff. We don't think that Brazil is in a situation that they can give some suggestions to India, because Indian people are hardworking. Indian people do many stuff by the other stuff. They create new things. So we don't think that Brazil is in this situation to make suggestions at this point.
Thank you, India.
To follow up.
Not granted. We're sorry, but there are a lot of delegates left to speak. If you want, we can add you at the end of the list. Okay, Delegate of Kuwait, you can take the floor.
So since Germany said that China is selfish, then go and help India or Brazil.
The chair would like to thank the delegate of Kuwait so much. Delegate of India, the floor is yours again.
Thank you, Chair. As a delegate of India, who is the delegation of a country who produces many products by their great people, we believe that at this point we might have done some wrong stuff, such as not making strict rules in the factories and stuff. As some of the European countries that we believe that we can find a solution at this point, such as making some strict rules as they did. So we think that in the resolution paper, we should add some clauses about this.
Thank you, Delegate of India. Delegate of France, can you please take the floor?
As a delegate of France, we believe that is the hardest topic that we can fix, because the selfish countries like China don't care that what we are talking. They only care about their pockets. Basically, we can speak hours and hours, but we can't solve this with these selfish countries. Thank you for listening.
Motion to follow up.
Motion granted, China.
So China, the greatest country of all, was about to thank all the delegates sincerely for actually minding their own business this time and actually talking about their country. But then France came in with the baguettes and ruined everything. France, can you please focus about your country? Thank you.
Delegate of France, do you have an answer for that?
I'm not answering this selfish country.
Thank you, France. Germany, followed by UAE, followed by Britain. Brazil.
So everybody is making empty promises and asking other countries to do so. Can we talk in numbers? Germany spent more than 2 billion euros on towns, cities, and air pollution to make transportation, cars, electrical, and put filters on them. And following up to what Kuwait said, okay, if Kuwait, we're the selfish ones, can we talk about your numbers and what you did to help about air pollution and global warming? Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate of Germany. The floor is UAE's.
China is in the first place in the global warming polluters with more than 10,065 million tons of CO2 released.
Thank you, UAE. Brazil, Britain, followed by Brazil.
So
followed
I
by
want
Kuwait.
something to delegate of China. So can China tell us a specific thing that they did or about to do to solve this problem? And also China is saying that we all need to mind our own country's businesses, but we're not here to talk about our own countries. We are here to talk about global things, and we're trying to find global solutions. So I think China is being a little bit disrespectful and selfish.
Motion to follow up.
Floor is yours.
So we're actually reducing our country's population by killing Muslims. I mean by putting some like points and some new laws. We don't kill our people, we love our people. Like,
okay.
I mean, you all are just coming against me. Like, guys, you also have problems. All the delegates here, all the countries, they also have problems. Do you just like come attack me because I'm the most country that's being honest in this like committee or what? Like, please. Thank you.
Motion.
Okay. Motion.
Motion to suspend meeting.
Motion to suspend the meeting.
Motion to kick Khalid.
I think we should do a vote.
Voting
Do all
procedure.
the
Okay.
delegates want to suspend the meeting?
Delegates, raise your cards if you want to suspend the meeting. Okay, motion granted.
By overwhelming majority, our meeting was suspended.
Okay, thank you.
Herkese emniyetimizi izledikleri için çok teşekkür ediyorum ben. Çok dinamikti. Arkadaşlarıma da özellikle arkadaşlarıma teşekkür etmek istiyorum. Çünkü çok güzel götürdüler bence. Eminim Yaren'in de söylemek istediği çok şey vardır. Hepiniz çok iyiydiniz. Herkes tamamen ülkesinin rolüne girmişti. Çok güzeldi. Çok sağ olun.
Yeah, it was amazing. Thank
No
you all
problem.
so much.
You're all
China,
welcome.
please don't speak.
No problem, okay.
Thank you.
Found out about China's truth.
It was amazing, but you passed me 3 times.
Oh really? We didn't realize. I'm sorry.
We're sorry.
You're just talking too much, man. Calm down.
It's okay, it's okay. We're so sorry. Next time we're gonna let you speak. We're so sorry.
Okay, thank you everyone. Have a great night.
Teşekkürler. İzleyen herkese de çok teşekkür ederiz.
Thank you.